Hello, and welcome to another edition of Between the Pages with James Lott Jr. I am James Lott Jr. This person, one of my favorite people in the world, just first of all, just one of my favorite people in the world. When he calls, I answer the phone. This is what I do. I answer the phone. And I'm going to laugh because this is somebody who said to me a couple of years ago, James, I wrote you a role, and you're going to do it. You're going to play somebody who's not like you at all, a bad host. And I was sitting at your sides. We were shooting on Sunday, and it was a Friday. And it was this film, Second Chance at Christmas, which everybody saw. They're like, oh my God, we saw you. I'm like, yes, I was in the film. I was in the movie. But it's one of hundreds of things that he does. I mean, writer, producer. And then he does this movie where I'm like, it's his directorial debut? Like, really? So we're going to talk about that, too. It's called Stacks. And I'm going to ask him, I thought he was director already. I don't know what's going on. But I was happy to have him on my show, Gerald Webb. Hi, Gerald.
Hey, thank you for having me, James. It's always fun to talk junk with you.
Something like that, something like that, right? Something like that. I mean, because I've now known you since you did my Black Hollywood live show. I think like 5 years at this point, 4 or 5 years I've known you at this point.
Yeah, it's been a while. I don't know.
Yeah.
I lose track of years because I feel like I've been in Hollywood 3 months, and then I feel like it's been 45 years the next day. So I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, it's been probably at least 4 or 5 years, I would guess.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. And then seriously, you're one of my favorite people. You know that. You're one of my favorite people.
Oh,
so
you.
Any projects you have, I will help promote. But I have to say, we're going to get into a bunch of stuff, but I have to go start with this whole thing because you've done creator, writer, producer. You were on set with me when I was filming I know we had a director, but you were directing me also. You've never directed.
I was the B unit director for that. So,
but it's like you've never directed of all these things you've done. This is your directorial debut for Stacks.
Yeah, I feel like you're making fun of me because I get a little scared of directing for a
while.
I
was like, what? What?
Yeah. I mean, I got to be honest, dude. Like, it's on me. I could have done it at any time. I had some fears. I'll be honest about that. Number one, my first fear was like, do I know enough about photography really to direct? Because I have so much respect for the position, and it was like, all right, well, am I going to get the angles right and the lighting and the, not break this and not, so I had big concerns about that. And then, so that was like the major fear. Okay. And then the other fear was like, I had specific fear around the first thing that I directed, because I was like, well, if the first thing you direct is garbage, when you try to direct again, people are going to be like, well, what have you directed? And you're going to be like, hey, check out this garbage. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to be like serving up garbage, because then I was like, well, if you serve up garbage, they'll never hire you. So you may never get a second chance.
Right.
So I was a little scared of that. So I probably waited way too long. But finally, I think inspiration is one of the cures for a lot of procrastination, fear, a lot of things. So specific to Stacks, in the days coming up to the quarantine and the development of this whole COVID-19 thing that has changed all of our lives, right? I saw some things where I was like, whoa, like this is backwards. This is not like, this is crazy. And came up with this idea. And, with the quarantine pending, knowing that they hadn't said it was going to happen, but it was like, yeah, they're going to lock us down.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of was like, if I don't do this and I don't do it now, if I don't act and move right now, it's not going to happen. And in about 6 to 8 hours, went from idea to script to cast to crew to principal photography being done and in the can. And 44 or 46 hours after we wrapped, LA went in lockdown.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to flip it for you. It wasn't time for you to direct until now. I'm going to flip it for you. This wasn't time until now. Now it was time.
Yeah.
Never too late, and now it was time. That's what,
Okay.
Everything's right on time. Like this was.
I like that better than Gerald's a friggin' scaredy cat.
Exactly. I'm going to flip it for you. Gerald, this was the project you were supposed to do as a director.
I was diligent and I waited and I was patient and all the things that sound good to say that I finally got.
Don't let the face fool you, folks. This guy is. I mean, he's being all funny and stuff, but he's good. And I really do. I mean, I really do think this was the right time for you to do it. I mean, now you've had a lot of experience on films. I mean, as an actor, on that side of the camera, and also on the other side of the camera, So what is one thing you have learned about yourself as a director?
Well, what I'll tell you is like number one that I I had a concern about all these fears that I talked about, but what was great about it was once we started, like that day when everybody started getting there, and we had a skeleton crew, so I was the first AD and the director, and I was the prop master. I mean, I had 5 jobs. Everybody had 5 jobs. But once we really got started, and I did have a concern, I was like, hey, am I going to be able to really lead this team? Because it was all me. It was my idea. And I had a team.
Yeah.
But once we started, what I learned was, oh yeah, I should be doing this. Like I was ridiculously comfortable and I think effective. You talk to Deanna and you can talk to any of the rest of my cast. I'll let their opinion of that be what it is. But I feel like I was effective. And when I look at the final product, I can see that all of those experiences that you mentioned, you know, being a casting executive on 100 plus films, acting in 150 plus films, producing 35 plus films in a digital series, all of that helped me prep and be able to do my part of the job. And I'm really happy. I could have never guessed that my first project as me as a director would come out as amazing as I feel Stacks came out.
Yeah, and the thing is, you've had the experience coming up in Hollywood. You know all the ins and outs of the different jobs that need to be done. You know about craft services. You know about, because I said worked on the film with you. I love the craft service lady. She was great. She was very specific to what you were doing. People were doing their jobs. Everybody was running. Everything was running smoothly. And I think that's a testament to you knowing how everything works.
Well, thank you.
Well,
you know, what's interesting too is like part of what we were dealing with was it was before like mandatory mask rules and stuff.
Yeah.
But there was a huge responsibility for me, but also concern for everybody about what is this COVID thing? Like, you know, if we get together, are we going to get sick? So, you know, part of the reason we had a skeleton crew was because I wanted to have the smallest amount of people as possible. LA was recommending at the time, though it wasn't a quarantine, that you not have more than 10 people gathered together. So we had a cast and crew total complement of 13, and we always kept 3 or more of them in another, you know, we were on 2 floors of a building. So 3 were upstairs in base camp or more, and the rest were downstairs. And we were sanitizing everything, and there was hand sanitizer everywhere and Lysol everything and washing our hands, and food was individual meals. And, you know, so we were also kind of on the, like dealing with that whole challenge when we really didn't know what it was. So it's funny. So now I actually have some people asking me like, hey, what did you do? Like, how can we prep for when we come back? And I'm actually taking a class right now online through Johns Hopkins University on like COVID contact tracing. And I'm trying to educate myself so that when we go back, we can make sure we're taking the proper steps to protect ourselves and our cast and crews.
Yeah, but you also just bring another point of how sometimes you can get stuff done quickly. Like you've really, if you pull it together, everybody works together as a team and you're organized or whatever. And sometimes chaos is good too. You actually can put together something in a reasonable amount of time, right?
Well, of course. I mean, that comes down to a couple things, though, because you can't do that without relationships. You know, I have been really blessed that almost everybody that worked on this project I worked with before, they saw the project, they wanted to work, they wanted to help me, and I'm so grateful for their help. They felt that the project had, you know, a voice, and they wanted to work on that kind of material. So part of it was, you know, the composer I've known for 20 years, the DP I've been working with for the better part of 5 or 6 years, but he was a camera op and a first AC on a lot of stuff that we do. The guy that was the gaffer is normally a first AC, and he was the gaffer, Grip Electric team. You know, so a lot of the people that were involved in this, all of the actors I worked with before. So I didn't have to go through this long casting process. I could call people and go, hey, I got this role, read it, call me back immediately. I need an answer today. So I think a big part of it is relationships, and that's something that you build over years by trying to hopefully treat people well and treat people right so that they want to work with you. And then, like, I gotta be honest, man, like, bring something to the table worth doing. Don't come to the table with some BS, because, you know, it's the easiest person on the planet to BS is yourself. Like, so you got to be able to look in the mirror and not BS yourself, because I'll be like, yeah, this is great. And then everybody else is looking at it like, ooh, that's some dog crap. I can't. And then they're trying to figure out a polite way to tell you, oh man, I got to get my hair done. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, so I think a big part of it is anything can be done fast, but a lot of that comes down to relationships. And then again, you have to be able to work as hard as everybody else, but actually 10 times harder. So yeah, things can get done quick. But again, I think one of the main reasons why I was able to specifically on this project jump into this is I was really inspired and on some level bothered by something that I saw on a visceral level that made me go, act now, take action now. And I told the story a couple of times. I was on the phone with Mark Christopher Lawrence, who you know is an amazing actor.
I love him.
And I think he was driving home from a comedy, doing comedy somewhere. And he calls me sometimes while he's driving, and we'll just chit chat. And I was about to go to bed. I was actually sitting on my bed. And as soon as we got off the phone, I was going to lay down and go to sleep. And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Man, I'm thinking I'm going to go to sleep." But I was thinking about writing this little short. And I just had the idea like an hour before. Thinking about writing this little short. And he said, "Well, what is it?" And I told him what it is. He goes, "Well, man, if you write that, I want to be in it." I was like, "Okay." And I literally got off the phone with him about 10 minutes later. And I laid down and was about to go to sleep. If I had fallen asleep, Stacks would not exist. As I was laying there, I went, "Dude, just get up and write the first draft.
I know how it is.
It's only going to be a few pages. Just like write the draft. And if you don't like it, you don't like it." So I got up, got my computer, and wrote the first draft, went back to sleep. The whole time I was asleep for like 4 hours, my brain was just running with ideas. Got up, did the revision, sent it to Mark. He's like, "I'm in." Sent it to some other people. They were like, "We're in." But if I don't, in that moment of inspiration, before I go to sleep, take that first tough action, which is writing it or whatever, it never happens. It never happens.
I agree. I completely
I was
understand.
lucky.
Completely understand that. Completely.
And here's the thing. And I lose that battle more often than I win. There's plenty of times, I should do this. You know what I'm saying?
Gerald, I like to sleep, Gerald. I like me some sleep. And as I've gotten older, I like more sleep. And I tell you all the time, no, I may do a lot of stuff, but I do sleep. I like to sleep.
The most devastating killer of time is a comfortable mattress, brother.
I like that. Oh my God, I like that. Mine's comfortable.
Yeah.
Mine's comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. I know the feeling.
It is. So I know I like that. Tell Bill what Stacks is about.
Well, I got to be careful because I really feel like watching Stacks is an experience in and of itself. And I'm not trying to like make it bigger than it is.
Similar. She said something similar. So yes.
So what I'll say is Stacks is about two rivals who have to meet face to face for the first time in over a decade to make a deal for the most valuable substance on the planet. And with that comes a ton of circumstances, backstory, and all kinds of stuff. And again, I'm not trying to play coy. I just really feel like it's an experience, and I don't want to. People bring their own thoughts to Stacks, and I want them to be able to experience it for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. And so, I mean, I was going to ask you that. So, when you're writing that first draft, because I know how this feels sometimes when a song comes to me or something comes to me, I feel like my hand's just writing. Like this time because you know how it is sometimes when you have writer's block and things like that happen. But when like this happens, did it just flow out of you? Like this story just kind of flow out of you?
Yeah, usually when I see something, I visually see it. Okay. So it's like I know what's there, and the hard part for me is typing fast enough to capture the vividness that I see, right? So it came out pretty quick. And like one of the things that I've learned about myself is I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. And I have to let that go early in the process of things. Just get it out. And then I'm going to, you know, it'll get revised 5 times, 3 times, whatever. I mean, 20 times, but just get it out. So I was able to get it out pretty quickly. And then I went back through and the dialogue, I know everybody thinks their dialogue is ridiculously important, but there's really specific things in the dialogue of Stacks that I had to really work with and be like, okay, this needs to really fall a certain way. This has to be said a certain way. There were even some things with punctuation that helped the actors where it was like, this period, that period. Don't run these together. They're, you know, these individual thoughts. And I had to kind of work that in the rewrite process a little bit. But really, it was like, if I had to say, it was probably 2.5 drafts and I was happy with where the script was.
That's not bad, actually. That's not bad.
Well, when you have 68 hours to do the whole thing, it's kind of hard to.
But you know how it is. But you know how it is. There's some things that start out one way, and then they're completely different by the time they go to tape. Yeah. It's a whole different thing. You know how that goes sometimes.
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. When you spoke to Nicole Baxter, who plays Magdalena in Stacks. Initially, that character was completely different. It was a male. It was a different type. And then as I wrote it, like, wait a minute, one of these characters needs to be a strong female, like lead. I say this to Deanna, and she's cool with it. Boss bitch type character.
We talked about that.
Yeah. So, and I don't mean that disrespectfully to women. I just mean like in charge, kick ass, empowered. I'm saying it like Beyonce would say it to her girlfriend.
Yes. Deanna said, she goes, he called me and said, I want you to be a boss bitch. And we were laughing. He goes,
it's kind of what I said to her.
I said, girl, I'm like, I love it. So don't worry. We understand the difference.
The great thing was she was like, oh, yeah, I don't have that kind of material on my reel. Let's do it. So, but I want to be responsible and respectful for anybody out there who decides to twist it.
Yes.
So that was one of the things that came out of, like, I had an idea, but when I started writing, I was like, oh, this energy is much better and makes it a better project and gives all the characters more to work with. And, her and Mark Christopher Lawrence's character, because they're both great actors, but in the writing process of it, creating her role that way just gave so much more depth for both of their characters.
How many times have you and Mark Christopher? He was in my film too, that I did, of course, Second Chance for Christmas. How many things you guys done together? How many projects do you know, or is it past that right now?
Probably at least 5, I guess. So Stacks, Second Chance for Christmas. We did like a Lifetime movie together. He was in something else that we did. I can't remember.
I feel like he's in your production. I mean, he does a lot of stuff, actually. But
he's just one of my buddies, man. Like, whenever I can get him a job, I want to get him a job. Not just because he's my buddy, but dude, I think he's one of the most underused talents in Hollywood. He's an incredible actor, and like, everybody pigeonholes him as this like comedic guy because he's a stand-up comedian and gets millions of hits on his, and because he's on shows like Chuck But I think he's a better dramatic actor, like a way better dramatic actor than he is comedic.
Yeah.
So, and he's won like theater awards for, these huge dramatic films. And I'm like, Hollywood, wake up, wake up.
I know.
So when I thought of like, for Mark to play this role and get to play this serious role, I think one of the things that was important to me for everybody was to try and make working on Stacks an opportunity for everybody that worked on it. So Deanna said she didn't have that kind of role. She never really played that, and it would be great for her reel. Mark is like, yeah, I don't get to play these kind of roles. So that was my thing, was to try and even give those guys an opportunity in the process of this. I'm sure if I'd asked him, Mark would have said yes. If I said, yeah, come on and play Big Mike like you did on Chuck in my show, he would do it. But I wanted to make it something that was a challenge and different and an opportunity for him. Just like it was for our DP, who likes to work on dramas and doesn't get to do that much and works more as a first AC than a DP. And, so trying to give everybody that was working on it a little bit of a opportunity, if that makes sense.
And that's one reason why you're amazing. That's one reason why you are.
I benefit more than I give, man. I really do try to give, but all these people bless me with their talents and trust me, and I'm honored and floored by it, to be really frank.
I know you are. I know you're a modest guy. We joke around and stuff, but I know you're a modest guy. But I just want to say on camera, I don't care. I'm going to say it. You're good. You're a good guy. I love it.
Thank you.
And it's really, because again, in our community, that's actually that's the film community, TV community, Black community, whatever. We need more people like you out there, just like saying, okay, what can I get for you that could really give you something different, diversity, and not just go, but you're just like, you're the comedy best friend. Come on. So give you the 100th show that you're a comedy best friend, and be sassy and be funny. Like, it's like, at least you give people a chance to do something different and try and fail or whatever. You get a chance to try it. See if it works.
Well, but for me, it wasn't even like, I wasn't worried about failure, because I know Mark's a beast. I know Deanna's a beast of an actress. Like, I know that they can carry the load. So it's not even about failure. It's about, you're right, it's about opportunity. So it's like, I think we talked about this when I was on Black Hollywood Live a long time ago. I think one of the tricks to Hollywood is Hollywood looks at you and they want to do what you just said. They want to go, let me put you in a box this big immediately. You're the comedic best friend. That's it. And then they want you to do that forever, right? or you're this. Like I'm the cop. I played a cop for a form of law enforcement in 80% of the stuff that I've done in Hollywood. I've been the cop, the undercover cop, the uniform cop, the dirty cop, the prison guard, like the armored car dude, the FBI guy.
Yeah.
Like you name the law enforcement, I've been in, right?
You've done it. Yes.
So that's which is cool. So I think part of the trick to make it in Hollywood is you have to figure out the stereotype that they have decided to try and impose on you. You have to master that so that you can start working and prove that you can do the job. But you got to still study, and outside of that, work on all the other stuff and go find independent projects where you can do stuff and get some tape doing other things. And then Hollywood, whoa, I didn't know you could do that. Well, because you wouldn't let me. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a tricky thing. Like you almost have to embrace the stereotype, but then do other stuff so that when you can create opportunities for yourself or go do independent stuff to show I can do more than what you think I can do.
That's actually smart, because I always say the one big color in Hollywood is green. And when I say Hollywood, it could mean Atlanta. It could mean, Hollywood's Hollywood's a term at this point. I mean, it's kind of a term, I believe. And I feel like green is number one. It's the number one color. I mean, they don't care if you're black, white, Puerto Rican, everybody's just a freaking. They don't care about all that. It's like if you make money for them, they want to talk to you. And that goes into the whole pigeonholing of, well, you're a comedic actor, so we know that will work. So they go with what works. They go with what they know. It's a safe. Hollywood is safe. That's it by nature. It's just safe. So I love it. I love that advice. So yeah, do that. Go ahead and do that. But also over here, take some chances. Do some stage work. Do some stuff that's totally opposite what you're doing, and then you can show people that you are capable of B and not just A. I love that.
Yeah. And even like there's times when you show them and they're still like it's funny. I've had some people in Hollywood that literally said, "Oh, we don't think he's that." And then my agent or my manager will send them a piece of tape of me doing that on like a movie or a TV show. And then they're like, "Oh, I didn't realize he could do that." Well, why? But you've never brought me in to do it. Like give me an opportunity. And I'm not making them wrong, because I get it. They have 50 million people that want to get in. They have this much time to see people. They have to find some way to filter it down and, trying to get nobody in casting is like generally like, oh, I don't want to give people opportunities. They want the exact opposite. They want everybody to come in the door to be an answer and a solution. So they try to use whatever their filters are to try and pick the best people to kind of find that role. So I don't want to make them wrong for it, but I also understand sometimes it's easy to get caught in that loop. And I'm like, no, let's find a way to break through that loop, if that makes sense.
I'm glad you said that. I want folks out there who are actors, the whole point is that everybody they don't want it to be hard. They don't want to have to worry about it so much. All the departments don't want to deal with that. I mean, they want it as easy as just as possible. They want the person to walk through the door, whatever job it is, and be the one, right? I guess that's kind of the goal. And it's not always that way, obviously, but that's
I know the casting process well.
Yeah, I know you do.
When you walk, if I do a live casting and you walk through the door, I'm like, all right, oh, okay, this person's got, walk in, they have something that you like. Almost everybody, they could be good looking, they could be tall, they could just have a swagger, they could have a confidence with it. You're like, oh, all right, they got the confidence, all right. And in my mind, come on, give me something else to work with. Come on. First couple lines. Oh, they can act a little bit too. I'm getting excited. Come on, give me something else. Oh, they just killed it. or whatever. Hopefully they don't. But you're really rooting. I know I am. I'm rooting for everybody. I wish for everything I cast, I could bring in 3 people and I knew that all 3 of them were going to be the answer. And it was just a matter of which one was the best answer. But there's reasons why sometimes I got to go through 20, 30, 50, 100 people because we don't find that answer. And sometimes somebody brings something in the door where it's like, whoa, we didn't look at it that way. And that's where I, as a director now, executive producer, I really try to look at things from outside the box as much as I can. And, when I work with the asylum, we were able to increase the diversity there 380% under my watch. We doubled for star names. Our overall diversity doubled. there were tons of roles that were written for men that I said, hey, let's bring in this kick-ass woman, and they've gotten those roles. There were tons of roles that were written, for, 20-year-olds that weren't really written for that aren't really 20-year-olds because Hollywood wants to. And I was like, no, a 40-year-old woman can do this. Like, it's fine. She doesn't have to look like she's 20 in a bikini.
Right.
So I try to, and part of that is self-preservation. If I don't create opportunities for all different types of people, how is that going to help me when I go out in the world as an actor? Do you know what I'm saying? So I want to treat people with the same kind of opportunity, chance at opportunity that I hope that I'll get in return someday.
I like that. Actually, I like that. It's true. We all, the thing is, we all affect each other. So the more people like me who are on TV who are doing interviews, you see more Black men doing it, then I give Black people like you a chance, or women have a chance on my shows. Then people start seeing it. It's a ripple effect. It all starts to kind of.
You know what my big example of that is? I think part of the reason our country was ready for President Barack Obama was in the 10 to 12 years prior to him running, we started seeing African-American men as the president in movies, whether it was Morgan Freeman or I think in one of the sci-fi movies, Wesley Snipes played the president. We, even in some of the like comedic stuff, we saw, but we started seeing Chris Rock played a senator or whatever. Was he the president? I think he was president. I can't remember. But in the movie with Bernie, we started seeing these African-American males, which we never saw that in the 80s and even the early 90s. Then we started seeing it in the mid 90s or whatever. And I think on some level that told people, oh, yeah, we like Morgan Freeman. He's playing that kind of prepped them on some level to even consider it. Now, don't get me wrong. Barack Obama was an incredible politician and speaker and all that, and he did his thing. But I think just the idea of it and planting that seed, I think helped.
Well, I'll tell you, I met Byron Allen a few years ago at the Emmys. And I had a chance to talk to him, and just talking to him, because people don't understand, he's like a major in television.
He's a mogul. Yeah, he's a mogul.
But for me, meeting him and talking to him inspired me. I mean, just seeing representation, just seeing another person made me go, I could do that too. Why not? I can go after being a producer more, and that's why I'm producing now shows. I mean, I just meeting him though, just seeing that. People don't understand the power of seeing. The power.
Well, if you want to be like him, though, I'm going to give you a suggestion. You have to do your whole intro different. You just got to go, you're on talking with James Lott Jr. I used to say with Byron Allen. You got to like get that flow, that Byron Allen flow. So work on that.
Gerald Webb.
Remember he had all those shows, and it was always like with Byron Allen. You got to get that flow.
No, I'm James Lott Jr. and I do things my way. So you know that, and you know that. I'm 51 years old as of last week. I ain't changing to be like nobody else.
James is like, I don't got to be smooth. I'm gonna just be me. I love it.
And people love me. They love me. They do. They love James Lott Jr.
They do. Yeah, don't worry. Byron Allen ain't no James Lott Jr.
No, that's the clip. I'm gonna make it to a little clip and say, okay, buddy, that's what you know.
No, do not make that brother mad at me.
No, I would never make him mad. I'm gonna make him mad. I want to work with him one day. Shit, I want to work with him one day. Shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I want him to finance some TV shows, and
but it's just funny seeing him, seeing what he's doing, seeing what Tyler Perry's doing, seeing these Black men who are around my age or a little older that are doing stuff like this. It does inspire me to go, yeah, I can do it too. I can aspire to it too. And that's, you're right. Representation is everything. It's everything. Mm-hmm. It really is.
Well, because, and again, you have kids now that are seeing what Byron Allen's doing, people that are seeing what Beyonce's doing, people that are seeing what Neil
deGrasse Tyson.
Tyson, deGrasse Tyson. You're seeing what they're doing, going, oh, I want to be a scientist. I want to be a host. Like that. We never saw that.
Nope, did not.
I remember when Guy Buford came out, I was like, we could be astronauts, like a brother. So just seeing that changes the whole dynamic for people. I'm dropping everybody's name, but Misty Copeland, like all these people that are these new icons that we didn't have growing up. We didn't have those icons. It was some basketball people and a couple of actors, and you know, we was trying to be like George Jefferson.
Okay, I'm going.
You know, that's how he used to walk.
Yes. Actually, hey, Joe's funny thing. Yesterday, I had a big discussion about George Jefferson. And I said how important he was actually on television, that he was unapologetically black and rich.
Yes.
Unapologetically. He didn't apologize for his money. Black folks are always made to apologize for stuff. He didn't apologize for his money. He was rich. He had a maid. He lived in a high-rise apartment in the sky. I mean, he seriously did not apologize. And some form of that, that's actually was important to see that on TV also. It was very important.
Yep. Well, dude, I think about that show, and I just worked with the amazing Marla Gibbs last year.
Yeah.
And she was just amazing. Like, people don't realize, like, she was a boss too back then. Like, she was a boss. She was doing her thing, and people don't realize. I don't even know.
Club here in LA.
Right, but I don't know if you know this.
Tell me.
The gag on that show was supposed to be George was so difficult that there was a different housekeeper every week.
I didn't know that.
She came in and read and had such a spunk and an attitude, like, to kind of spar with him. They were like, "Whoa, she can hang with him," and they kept her on the show. Like that's how she became an icon. Was she came in and brought it so great that they were like, "We have to have you on the show." So, like, she was a boss. So, like, you know, again, I watched that show as a kid, and you're right. There were so many things about that show that were unapologetically black. They took on interracial marriage on that show. They took on a white man living in a primarily white building at a high rise and a, you know, fish out of water kind of thing. Him being a business owner. I don't know if you remember, they had an episode about when Martin Luther King got killed and the anger that was. Like, that show really was unapologetically saying, in a mainstream way, let's take this on and talk about it. And I to this day am amazed that was the 70s, man.
I know.
We have shows now that are scared to do that.
I know. I want to ask you, can you tell when someone has it at this point?
You know, here, I think you can see certain people where, like, whoa, yeah, they have something. But I'm going to be really honest with you. Far too often, there's an arrogance that comes in with people in power. Not all. So I want to be careful saying I say somebody has it or I say somebody doesn't have it, because, like, a lot of careers can get shut down because I'm like, oh, they don't have it. And I know people who I might have seen them early in their career and they weren't very good. And then I saw them a few years later. I'm like, whoa, you went to work. So 5 years ago, did they not have it, or did they have it and they just hadn't developed it yet?
Good point.
And now all of a sudden, or was I just like, you're not the answer, and was dismissive? So it's a weird thing. Like, you think you know, and you can say, yeah. But then I think the more I work, the more I'm like, maybe you don't always know. And be careful not to put your limits on what someone is. Now, don't get me wrong. If you come in and you're not professional, I'm not hiring you. You know what I mean? There's certain things you have to do, but I also think, like, and here's the other thing. Some people working on TV that I'm kind of like,
I know, shady.
Somebody thinks that they're it.
Right. All right.
I don't necessarily think that they're it, but somebody else's opinion is different. So it's a weird question. There would have been a time when I'd have been like, hell yeah, you could tell, like, but I don't know so much now.
I don't
really know.
I like the answer. It makes sense. Because we all know not all talent becomes stars either. I mean, some, you know, it could be any kind of number of factors you can become a star.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't have to be talent. But I was just wondering, you got me thinking about something. I never thought of it that way. That it could be they have it, so to speak, but just not developed yet, and then maybe it gets developed later.
Yeah, but also my question is, what's it?
There you go.
What's it for you may not be it for me, may not be it for that other audience. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like reality TV shows, but apparently, like, I don't like sitting watching other people's stress, trauma, whatever. If I want to see that, I can call my friends or look out the window, like, see my, you know what I mean? Like, you know, so my thing is, but for some people, they're enamored with these people's lives. So those people have it on whatever level they have. to me, I'm like, I could care less about this royal family thing or whatever. I could care less. But for other people, it's like, oh my God, this, this is amazing. Yeah. So it's a weird question nowadays, I think.
I like that. Thank you, Gerald Webb. Thanks for being on the show.
No, well, thank you for having me, as always.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it.
So start promoting. Tell people where to find stuff. Tell them everything.
Well, if you want to find me, I'm at Gerald Webb, GeraldWebb on Twitter, Instagram. Facebook is Facebook.com/the Gerald Webb, because somebody stole Gerald Webb. I had to put V in front of it. And they don't even have a profile picture. It's just like they're just holding the spot. They ain't even using it. So I'm like, come on, man. So there's that. Please check out my short film Stacks. If you go to any of my social media, you'll see the links are pinned. It's available on IGTV, Facebook, and YouTube. So please check that out. There's a song that I wrote for the movie that I sing. It's called Dropping Deuces. It's available on Spotify, iTunes. I don't do that. But I do some crazy stuff. I was literally laughing at myself because it was so ridiculous at one point.
I see. Yes.
But it's available on all the major streaming places, and you can actually hear it at the end of the movie Stacks. I really just check it out. I don't want to say too much about Stacks. Please give 7 minutes of your time to it. If you don't like it, curse me out online. Come at me at Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, Deanna's the same way. She didn't say much about it either. So go out and check out the film. And yeah, I want to hear what you guys think. Tell me what you guys think out there. I want to know what you guys think.
I do. Like, well, here's the thing. Like, I like truth. So many times I feel like people don't want to hear truth. They just want to hear what they want to hear. They just want to be told they're great. My thing is, I don't get better by being told. For me, I generally have an idea on what I did well at.
Yeah.
Right? I don't get better by, I'll take the compliment, but I don't get better by saying, oh, this is this. I get better by finding out what didn't work for you, what was missing, what was terrible. Because then I can go, oh, if I'm weak at this, I can go work on that and I can develop that. Like if you go, oh, it's just great. I appreciate hearing that, but I don't know how to take it's just great and go improve and be better.
Yeah, I understand that.
If that makes sense.
Makes sense. I understand that. And you can follow me where all James Lott Jr.'s are sold, at James Lott Jr. and all social media platforms. Follow me on TikTok, people. I'm a star on there, apparently. So follow me on TikTok at James Lott Jr.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Are you going to do the Dropping Deuces like TikTok dance challenge?
I probably should.
It's coming. I'm telling you, we're working on it. Kelly V. Dolan and Step It Up is helping me work on it.
Cheese and crackers. So yes, well, follow me on TikTok. I'm on there now doing that. And of course, this show is on every streaming service you can think of. And it's on my YouTube channel, JLJ Media. While you're there, like, comment, subscribe, rate, share so anybody that needs to hear this. Shout out to my friends, my Christopher Lawrence, and my new friend, Deanna Nicole Baxter. I love them both. And everybody, please stay safe and sane while we're going through this strange time period. And go see some movies.